Greetings and welcome back to Bible Topics That Make You Say, hmm. And I'm Robin Sweet Ransom. All right, last time we talked about whether or not demonic possession is associated with mental illness. And we said in some cases that is the case. Now, picking up from there, we're going to talk about this topic. Are modern day prophets in mental hospitals? What do you think? Look at this hand. Someone trying to come up out of there. Look at these pictures. These are not actors. These are real pictures of people who spent a great deal of their lives in what they used to call then insane asylums. They were doing a lobotomy here, and this woman, she had a lobotomy. This is what she looked like before. This is what she looked like directly after, and then after that. Right? It tore people's lives apart. Now imagine being put in a mental hospital and feeling like you don't belong there. I have a friend who ate a book. Yeah, they ate a whole book, and they said that it tasted like honey. Then they tied themselves up, laying on one side, their left side, for 390 days, and then laying on their right side for 40 days, and they tied themselves up so they could keep that position. And then here's the killer. They baked bread over poop and ate it. They did other things too, and it was just so bizarre to me. Does it sound bizarre to you? And if so, where do you think they belong? Do you think they need some mental health treatment? Do you think they belong in a mental hospital? I wouldn't disagree if you do think that. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 2, verses 8 through 10. It says here, "And you, son of man, listen to what I tell you. Do not be rebellious like that rebellious house. Open your mouth and eat what I'm giving you." So this is the Lord speaking. So what did Ezekiel do? He opened his mouth. Wouldn't you? Ezekiel 3, 2 and 3 says, "So I opened my mouth and he fed me a scroll. Son of man," he said to me, "eat and fill your stomach with this scroll I am giving you." So I ate it, and it was as sweet as honey in my mouth. Ezekiel 4, 4, 6 through 9, and 4 through 6, and then 9. "Then lie down on your left side and place the iniquity of the house of Israel on it. You will bear the iniquity for the number of days you lie on your side. For I have assigned you the years of their iniquity according to the number of days you lie down, 390 days. So you will bear the iniquity of the house of Israel. When you have completed these days, lie down again, but on your right side, and bear the iniquity of the house of Judah. I have assigned you 40 days, a day for each year. Also, take wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt. Put them in a single container and make them into bread for yourself." A godly recipe must be some good bread, right? Do you want some? Probably so, right? I love bread, so I would want some. "You are to eat it during the number of days you lie on your side, 390 days. Ezekiel 4, 12 through 15. "You will eat it as you would a barley cake and bake it over dried human excrement in their sight." What, Lord? He said, "This is how the Israelites will eat their bread, ceremonially unclean among the nations where I will banish them." Ezekiel had enough by this time. He said, "Lord, I can't do this. I have never been defiled. From my mouth, from my youth until now, I have not eaten anything that died naturally or was mauled by wild beasts. I haven't even had impure meat enter my mouth. And now you want me to eat my food over poop? Lord, I mean, haven't I done enough? I laid on my side for over a year. You got me eating books. Now you want me to eat poop? I thought you loved me, God. Why you doing this to me?" God said, "Okay, I'll give you a break. Look, I will let you use cow dung instead of human excrement, and you can make your bread over that." Does that make sense to you? Is that somehow better? Cow dung is so much better than human poop. Well, Ezekiel did it. Would you have? So my friend I told you about that you were ready to put in an insane asylum is Ezekiel. So where does Ezekiel belong? Does he belong in a mental hospital? Now you want to back up off that, right? No, let's keep it real. What he did appears to be crazy. I'm sure he was seen as crazy back in his day, and he definitely would be seen as crazy today. So I asked the question again. are modern day prophets in mental hospitals. Note this, not all possession is demonic. The Holy Spirit can possess you too. And I know for a fact that that can happen. And a lot of you are Holy Spirit filled, so you're possessed by the Holy Spirit. Ezekiel knew the spirit he was working with. That's why he did what he did. He didn't see it as demonic oppression or possession. He didn't see it as insanity. He knew that the Holy Spirit was telling him to do these things. That was a sign of the things that was happening with Israel and Judah. So while Ezekiel would have been labeled crazy then, and no doubt today, guess who else was labeled crazy? Jesus Christ. He was labeled crazy and demon possessed, according to John 10:20. Do you know someone who is strange or institutionalized? Is that someone you? Have you ever been in a mental hospital? Let me tell you something. Doctors would declare crazy true Holy Spirit filled experiences. Why? Because the wisdom of God is foolishness to this world. 1 Corinthians 2:14. Are you willing to be labeled crazy for Christ? Because he was willing to be labeled crazy for you and even demon possessed. Now I'm going to share with you a little story. I'm going to try to keep it as tight as possible. So in 1994, I was praying to the Lord. I was reading in Joel. I had been fasting for 3 days and so forth by this point. And I asked God's Holy Spirit to fill me, and he did. Be careful what you pray for. From the top of my head to the bottom of my feet, I felt the Holy Spirit push through me, and it scared me. I thought a demon had entered me. Even though I prayed the prayer silently, I thought somehow something happened. And I hadn't had my cycle in 5 months at that time. And I said, Lord, if this was you, when I get home, I want to see evidence. You know what I mean by that? And when I got home, I saw that. I was like, wow, I really did experience God's Holy Spirit. And then the next day I began to speak in the spirit. And that is something that my religion didn't believe in. My sister was thinking I was acting strange. And I was, because it was a lot that God was revealing to me during this time. Long story short, I was put into a mental hospital. One of the reasons was because that my family and friends thought I was going to kill myself. One of my friends called me and asked me something, and I said, no, I can't do that. I'm going away, take care of my family. And he got scared by that and jumped to the conclusion I was going to hurt myself. I get to this mental hospital. It was a horrible place. I saw all manner of dysfunction. I even heard a demon speaking through the intercom. I was with this other young lady. She heard the same thing too. There was a nurse. I know she was demon filled, and she tried to attack me. I won't go into all the details there. I was eventually transferred to another hospital, and it was there that they gave me a diagnosis of being bipolar. And let me back up here and share something with you. So I want you to know that during these last days, uh, Satan is going to do everything in his power to make good seem bad and bad seem good. In other words, real, true Holy Spirit experiences, the devil is going to try to make look crazy. Why? So people don't listen to the people who God has given the message to tell people. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and then you tell me what you think about this. So let's see. Have any of you ever been given the gift of speaking in tongues? Have any of you ever felt like God was speaking to you? Do any of you ever feel like the devil is after you? Have you been given the power to heal the sick? How many believe that you are God's children and you'll reign as kings and priests one day? How many of you have seen visions and have had prophetic dreams? Did any of you say yes to any of these things? Well, if you did, guess what? You could be labeled mentally ill. Think about it. You tell a psychiatrist that you believe God is speaking to you, you believe that the devil is out to get you, and he's going to say, oh, so you hear voices and you're paranoid too? He's going to call you paranoid schizophrenic. Or you're babbling on because you're speaking in some other language, and he's going to say, what's going on with you? Your mind's racing, huh? Sounds like you're a little manic. And you think you have special powers too? You can heal the sick? Oh my goodness, you've got delusions of grandeur. You're moving so fast, you can't wait to tell everybody about Jesus. Oh yeah, you're manic. You got and you see visions too. Oh, you hallucinate. Oh my goodness, you hallucinate too. Now you got bipolar as well, and they want to put you on some medication. What am I saying to you? True Holy Spirit filled experiences will look to the world as foolishness and even demonic possession. And so, what are you going to do when it comes for you, so to speak? Because the prophets are being raised up and we're being raised up for a purpose. There are people in the mental hospitals now that are going to be set free. And during the heat of the tribulation, the people who we're going to be listening to will be them, the homeless people on the street, people coming out of prison. God is going to release prophets from every phase that you wouldn't even expect, right? And these people who are running around saying that they're prophets, we're going to realize that they were the false prophets, right? And so I'm sharing this with you because I want you to be on guard and know that the Holy Spirit has told you today, be on guard for what they're doing in this world. Because it's funny how they got a medication for everything. They want people to be shut down so they can't hear the voice of God. And I don't want that to happen to you. Let's end in Joel. Let's end in Joel chapter 2, verse 28, where it says, "After this, I will pour out my spirit on all humanity. Then your sons and your daughters will prophesy. Your old men will have dreams, and your young men will see visions." The time is now to pay attention to the things that seem foolishness to the world, but is wisdom to God. All right, see you next time on Bible Topics that make you say, too long.